All right, today we're going to divide with decimals. We already have our expression set up here. We have 4 7/10 divided by 2 3/10. In order for us to solve this expression, we have to set the problem up. They gave us this expression here. Now we have to translate it so that we can solve it. Whenever you have an expression like this, the very first number that you see before the division symbol will always be your dividend, or you can always say it'll go inside the house. So the very first number here I'm going to write is 4 7/10, and I'm going to put that inside the house, because that's what we're dividing. We're dividing by the 2 3/10, so that's going to go on the porch here. The 2 3/10 is also known as our divisor. So we have our divisor, that's 2 3/10, and we have our dividend inside the house. Dividend inside the house is 4 7/10. Whenever we divide, we always have to follow our process here. Divide, multiply, subtract, then bring down. And we'll draw my arrow up here. It lets me know that I start the whole process over again once I've brought down my last digit. I cannot divide whenever I have a decimal point in my divisor. So the very first thing I have to do is I have to get rid of my decimal. I can't just erase it like that. There's a process that I have to do. So in order for me to get rid of this decimal, I must sweep the decimal off the porch. But I can sweep it to the right, not the left, to the right. So I have to sweep it to the right until I make this number here a whole number. So how many times can I sweep this decimal to get it off my porch? One time. So if I sweep it to the ones here, to the right, one time, this new number now is 23. If I swept it on the outside of the porch, I have to also remember that I sweep the number on the inside of the house. So our dividend here. So if I swept it once on the outside of the house, how many times do I have to sweep it on the inside of the house? One time. I swept it once on the outside. I'm going to sweep it once on the inside. So let's move our decimal here to the right one time. So now our new expression is 47 divided by 23. Once I've moved my decimal on the outside and I've moved my decimal on the inside, I have to make the decimal float through the roof. So the decimal on the inside of the house, or my dividend, is going to float to the roof, and that's going to be where our quotient is. So now all we have to do is divide. Can I share 4 Skittles with 23 people? No, I cannot. So I have to put a 0 above my 4 that lets me know that I cannot divide 4 by 23. Now I can divide 47 by 23. How many times will 23 go into 47? Twice. And now I can check that by multiplying over here with my scratch word. 23 times 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Is 46 less or greater than 47? 46 is less, so therefore 46 will go into 47. 23 will go into 47 twice. That gives me 46, because I showed my work over here. The next step, after we've multiplied, we have to subtract. 6 from 7 gives us 1. 4 from 4 gives us 0. After I've subtracted, my next step is to bring down. I don't see any digits over here. So this is the next point that we have to do whenever we're dividing with decimals. We have to insert a placeholder here at this stage, and then we bring it down. Will 23 go into 10? It will not, so I have to show that by putting a 0 here. After I've divided, I multiply. 0 times 23 gives me 0. After I've multiplied, I subtract next. 0 from 10 gives me 0, or gives me 10. After I've subtracted, I have to bring down. Same process before. I have to place a placeholder here, and then I bring down the 0. Now I have to determine how many times 23 will go into 100, because I've brought down my digit. Now I go back up to dividing here. 100 divided by 23. This is where you have to guess and check. So let's say I'm going to try 4 times. So over here on my scratch work, I'm going to show 23 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry my plus 1 here. 4 times 2 is 8 plus 1. That gives me 9. 92. 92 is less than 100. I don't think that I can add 23 more to this to get under 100. So I'm going to say that 100 divided by 23 will give me 4 times here. So let's put my 4 up here on top. It's always very important to make sure that your place values line up as well here. 4 times 23 gives us 92, so I'm going to put 92 down here. Now my next step, after I've multiplied, I subtract. Cannot take away 2 from 0, so I have to knock next door, get some sugar from the 0 here, but it's a 0, so I can't borrow from her. So the next thing I have to do is mark off my 1 here. That turns into a 0. I've taken this 10 here. I'm going to turn this into 10. I'm ultimately trying to subtract 2 from 0 here, so I cannot do that. So this is going to turn into a 9, and this will turn into a 10. 2 from 10 is 8. 9 from 9 is 0, and 0. Now, 5th grade standards tell us that we only have to go to the hundredths place. So once we've gotten our value up here in our hundredths place, we can stop. Dividing with decimals, you follow the same process all the way through. Always remember to write your divide, multiply, subtract, breakdown over here on the side of your notes. And always remember to show your scratch work on the other side over here. Please do not get your scratch work under this because it'll get confusing. Follow those steps and you should be good.